Good afternoon everyone, and welcome to another podcast. It's Mayfly time, which is lovely, and I'm out on one of my favourite limestone streams. It's a beautiful spring day. I can already see a few mayfly flutting around. There's some olives coming off the river. The river's in perfect condition really. There's plenty of water coming down. I had an evening on here 2 nights ago without recording the podcast and had such an amazing evening. I had 6 or 7 fish, had an absolute beautiful brownie out, all on dries, on mayflies on the surface. So it's a bit of a chilly winter day. It's not as good conditions, but I'm going to give it another go. So I've got my 9'4" weight, it's a Vision Onky with the Rio Gold Premier line. I have a 9-foot Rio with tapered lead in a 4X, and I've got a supple flex tippet of about 3 or 4 foot in a 5X. I have a Moseley Mayfly on, which I'm just going to put a touch of gink on, and I'm going to fish again the shallows, the broken water, and try and pick up some fish in there. And then with the stiller bits of river, I will target any fish that I see rising. So the first pool I'm at here is very quick. I'm only going to have 3 or 4 casts. It's a dapping pool really. You've just got to flick it in and you're going to get 2 or 3 seconds on the water before it's too much. River's about 15-20 feet across here. Bit of weed growth. It's a limestone stream, very clear, loads of bulrushes. The hawthorns are out all over the valley. The valley looks just white with hawthorns, and the wild mint I can smell as I tread it down coming to the river. So it's a beautiful afternoon. Overcast today, so I've just not seen anything rise, but it's unlikely to see much rise in this particular pool. It's very quick water. So I'm just going to dap this one out. I might adjust the leader a little bit and see how we go. Right, find a gap in between the trees. Drop on. I've just looked up actually to check my cast, and the check I got some room behind me to cast, slotting it through a branch, and there's a cloud of spinners mating in the air just above me, so that's a good sign. Plenty of fly around. Maybe not as many mayfly today as there were the other day. I can see the fly running down that river there, perfect. I'm just going to work a slightly longer cast out, and then I'll quickly move past this pool. Like I say, it's just one of these pools here where you might get lucky and hit one, but it's only worth a few casts. Okie dokie, let's skip. So I've had 4 or 5 casts. You only get a few shots here, and then we're going to move up the river. So I've had a bit of a disaster with the podcast the other day. I did one on fishing a streamer jig, and I had a red letter day. I think I had 13 or 14 fish. I was really excited. It was a brilliant it was a morning's fishing actually on a different river, and I went to drop it onto the computer to edit it, and I hadn't recorded it, so unfortunately I'm one down. So I thought I'll come out and do a mayfly one, but I just hope the fishing is somewhere near as good as it was the other evening, because I had such a good night's fishing. It was truly wonderful fishing. Right, I'm just going to walk through the meadow full of yellow flowers and have a little wander up the river. I've got lots of little favourite pools on this river, so I'll hit all those, and then like I say, I'll try and pick off or target, at least put a fly over anything I see rising up the river. I noticed a bit of a change in the fish in this particular river. Just started to move into the faster water now. They've come out of the deeper slacks and they are just starting to feed a bit heavier and be comfortable in that faster stuff, which is nice. So it's a very windy river this. It snakes its way through the meadows. Sometimes it's doubling back on itself. It splits in occasions as well into two little streams and then joins as a bigger river. Some of it's wild and you can't really fish it, it's overgrown. Other bits are, lovely and accessible, so it's superb really. It's perfect fly fishing river. Species in here we're targeting today, we've got wild brown trout, and also in here we do have the wild rainbows as well, which are kind of unique to this area. There's plenty of grayling in the river. They're still out of season at the minute, so I'll leave them well alone. 2 or 3 weeks and move back on the grayling. So there's a few mayfly fluttering off. I've not really seen a rise yet, but I think if we put the fly over a fish in a bit of the shallow water, hopefully we'll get a bit of interest. Now just coming up to a little run I'm going to fish here. The thing about this river as well is you want to be approaching it with caution. The fish are pretty wise to the anglers here, so keeping down, keeping low is a really good idea. And the trout are often, I'm just creeping up to this pool on my knees. We've got a nice big tongue of water, fast water running down the middle of the river. Sometimes there's a fish just rising in the top of that, and then there's some slacks just off it, which has very often got a fish in there. There's quite a lot of caddis actually buzzing around over the river, flitting around, but I'm hoping that they've definitely been feeding on the mayflies, so I'm hoping that they'll take a big may if it just floats over them. So I'm almost going to start fishing under the rod tip. I'm on my knees and I'm just going to tap one out really with just the leader and just see if anything wants to grab it. Work my way forward on my knees, and then I'll just lengthen the line a little bit. That's coming down the streamy water nicely. I'm just going to lengthen the cast out and drop a few further up the river, just on the edge there of the streamy stuff. It's the little rainbows in here that are fairly aggressive. They see something, they tend to whip up and have it. The other thing I found here as well is you want to work your way right up the pool and then right up the riffle, almost so you're fishing in 2 or 3 inches of water. And there's often a fish just sat in the very shallow stuff. Or it comes out of the shallow stuff into the window of one that's sat just in the riffle, which grabs it. Let's get one right up into the shallow stuff now. Nothing at home I don't think in this little bit. We'll just try a couple more. I've not seen much rise yet, so I wonder if today is going to be a little slower. I fished, it was later in the day as well, a few days ago into the evening, and it was pretty epic. I mean, it just sounded like someone was throwing stones in the river. The amount of fish that were rising and plopping around. Hammering, just dropped the mayfly right into the streamy middle section of the river, and one's come up and gobbled it straight away. I saw a rise and I covered it, and then nothing came up, so I just moved it slightly to the right, and a fish has come up and smashed my mayfly. Taking a bit of line. Ooh, come on you. Let's have you. Let's get the net out. Nice hard fighting fish. Lovely. What we got there? About 3/4 pound. I'll just unhook him and get him back. There we go. Perfect. Lovely. So off the mark pretty quick. So this mayfly is sodden now, so I've got some of the, what's this one, Loon Easy Dry. And you just drop it in and give it a shake, and it takes the moisture out. Perfect. That works a treat. Get a bit more gink on it now, and off we go again. Super. I seem to be having a really good run of form on the trout at the minute, and it's just the way it goes. For anyone that listens to the podcast regularly, my grayling season was awful, and I had such a bad run of form. And it doesn't matter, you have to just take these things as they come, but it's nice to start getting into a few fish again. There's quite a few fish rising now. I always fish quite a long leader dry fly fishing, because especially this river, fishing from the bank, the currents are quite complicated, and you're always going across the river slightly, so drag is always an issue. But such a long leader, and it really does help eliminate almost most of the drag. Obviously you've got to be careful with your casting and get that just right, but a lot of the drag is eliminated because you've got the nice long leader. Keep a highish rod, get the line off the water, and it's amazing how much drift you can get. Oh, just missed one. Saw it rise over the side of the pool and I covered it and it took and then didn't prick it, so I might just rest that one. And they're a lot trickier they're not quite committing to the big mayflies they were the other night. It's still early though. I think the best fishing again will be as it goes dusker. Don't know if I can stay that late tonight. I have to see how things go. At least I'm getting some offers, that's the main thing. Yes! Got him! There we go. Oh, he's off at the net. Little rainbow. Beautiful. Lovely. Right, let's see if we can dry this fly off a bit and see if there's another one. He was a little bit smaller than I expected actually. I think that's what caught me out. It was only a little tiddler. It's beautiful fish in this. The river's absolutely just lush at the minute. Perfect really. Just flicking some little roll casts up into the riffle. Very hard cast actually. That's better. Anything there? Oh, missed it. Had a nice rise to the fly then and I was just looking behind me at the hawthorn. I must have had, I've lost count of the rises I've had and they're just not quite, they're so quick and they're not quite taking, moving at the fly but not committing. That's why I think dusk will be excellent tonight. But let me drop this back out. I'm annoyed at that one. I just glanced behind me ready to cast to check I wasn't going to hit the hawthorn on my back cast and as I looked around I could see the rise. Didn't quite react in time. Yes! You nailed that, didn't you? Oh, come on, come on, come on. Strip it, he's jumping downstream. Looks like a rainbow. Oh. Oh. Let's get him in. Oh. There we go. Super. A rainbow, about 3/4 of a pound. And hook's come out of the net and just dropped him straight back. Oh, lovely. There have been so many rises at the fly and nothing committing. That's just fantastic to get that. Right, straight back out with a cast and I'll see if there's anything else in this riffle. Yes, into a fish now. I saw it rise and just covered it. Not a big one, it's just a little rainbow. There we go, in the net. Job's a good one. Little rainbow, beautiful. It's a fat fish though. Still got a few paw markings on. It's just a baby. Slip him straight back. There we go. I think that wasn't maybe the fish I was targeting. I saw something that did look a bit bigger, and I crawled up to the bank and put my fly over the bigger fish. Unfortunately, a little greedy rainbow popped up and nobbled it. That's okay, they all count. Nice to have. Well, that's me done. I'm going to go for some fish and chips, I think, to finish my day. So it's been tough today. Lots of short risers. I think I've had 4 or 5 fish, but I've had to work for them. And yeah, it's been hard work, but great fun. Quite challenging fishing. I said the other night I absolutely cleaned up. It was quite epic. Just a bit tougher tonight, but thank you so much for listening. If you want any help or advice, or you're interested in booking a guided day or tuition, it's www.peaksflyfishing.com, and for online orders for flies and tackle, it's shop.peaksflyfishing.com. And as ever, if you're in the Sheffield area, love to see you. Just call in the shop and say hello. Until next time, thank you. Bye bye.